The gun slid across the white marble floor, leaving a thin streak of blood in its wake. Adanna froze, her mop still dripping soapy water onto the expensive tile. Her heart hammered so hard she could hear it in her ears. This was supposed to be a simple cleaning job. Get in, clean the penthouse. Get out, go home to Kwame. But nothing about the scene before her was simple. A gold tooth wrapped in red silk cloth sat on the glass coffee table. More blood. Too much blood. The trail led from the entrance hall toward the master bedroom, dark and glistening under the crystal chandelier lights. Adanna's hands shook as she dropped her mop with a clatter that echoed through the silent apartment. Aigu, she whispered in Korean, the prayer escaping her lips before she could stop it. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. She needed to leave. Right now? Forget the cleaning job. Forget the money she desperately needed for Kwame's medicine. She backed toward the elevator, her worn sneakers squeaking against the marble. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. Kwame, probably asking when she'd be home. Sweet Kwame with his breathing problems and bright smile, waiting for her in their tiny apartment in Itaewon. Adanna pressed the elevator button 5 times, 6 times, 7. Come on, come on, come on. The golden door slid open with a soft ding that sounded like salvation. She rushed inside, jabbing the lobby button. The doors began to close. Then they stopped. Red emergency lights flooded the elevator. An alarm blared once, twice, then went silent. The elevator lurched upward, back to the penthouse. No, no, this couldn't be happening. Adanna pressed every button. Nothing worked. The doors opened again to the penthouse. A man stood in the doorway. He was tall, dressed in an expensive black suit now ruined with blood. His white shirt was torn, revealing a muscular chest marked with old scars. But it was his eyes that made Adanna's stomach drop. Cold, dark, empty of mercy. He looked at her the way a hawk looks at a mouse. You shouldn't be here, he said in English, his accent thick but his words clear. Adanna tried to speak, but her throat was dry. She pressed herself against the back of the elevator. I'm just the cleaner. Please, I didn't see anything. You saw my face. He stepped into the elevator. Up close, she could see the fresh wound on his side, blood seeping through his fingers where he pressed against it. You saw the gun. You saw everything. I won't tell anyone. I promise. I have a brother. He's sick. He needs me. The words tumbled out in a desperate rush, mixing Korean and English without her meaning to. Gibberer. Please. The man studied her for a long moment. Pain flickered across his face before the cold mask returned. What's your name? Adanna. Adanna Osei. Park Jin-Sang. He said it like a confession and a threat at the same time. Come. You're going to help me. It wasn't a request. His hand closed around her wrist, not crushing but firm, and he pulled her back into the penthouse. Adanna's mind raced. She'd heard that name before. Park Jin-Sang. The ghost of Myeongdong. The newspapers called him a businessman, but everyone in Seoul's immigrant community whispered the truth. Mafia. Dangerous. Untouchable. I don't know how to help you, Adanna said as he dragged her toward the kitchen. I'm not a doctor. You have hands. You can follow instructions. He shoved her toward the marble counter where medical supplies were already laid out. Bandages, antiseptic, surgical thread. Had he known this would happen? Had he prepared for it? Jin-Sang pulled off his jacket and shirt, wincing. The wound on his side was deep, a knife cut that needed stitches. Blood ran down his skin in rivers. Clean it. Bandage it. If I pass out, there's a number in my phone. Call Min-jun. Adanna's hands trembled as she picked up the antiseptic bottle. She'd done this before, sort of, when Kwame scraped his knee or burned his hand on the stove. But this was different. This was a knife wound on a gangster who could kill her without blinking. I have to call my brother, she said quietly. He'll worry. Jin-Sang's jaw tightened, but he nodded once. Make it quick. No police. She pulled out her phone with shaking fingers. 3 missed calls from Kwame. Her heart broke a little. She dialed, and he answered before the first ring finished. Nuna, where are you? It's almost midnight. Kwame's voice was high with worry, switching between Korean and English like he always did. You said you'd be home by 10. I'm okay, baby. I'm okay. Adanna forced her voice to stay calm even as Jin-Sang watched her like a predator. The job is taking longer. I have to stay at a friend's place tonight. Double shift tomorrow too. What friend? You don't have friends. Kwame knew her too well. You're scaring me. Kwame, listen. Did you use your inhaler before bed? Yes, but... Good boy. Keep it next to you, okay? I'll be home tomorrow night. I promise. I love you so much. I love you too, Nuna. His voice cracked. He was trying not to cry. 15 years old, and still her baby brother. Adanna hung up before she could break down. She blinked hard against the tears and turned back to Jin-Sang. Okay, tell me what to do. For the next 20 minutes, she cleaned the wound while Jin-Sang gritted his teeth in silence. Not once did he cry out, even when the antiseptic must have burned like fire. His skin was hot under her fingers, fever already setting in. She bandaged him as best she could, her hands steadying as she focused on the task. You're good at this, Jin-Sang said when she finished. His voice was softer now, tired. My brother gets sick a lot. Asthma. Bad asthma. Adanna stepped back, wiping blood off her hands with a towel. Can I go now? No. The single word hit her like a slap. But I helped you. I didn't call the police. The Beck clan tried to kill me tonight. Jin-Sang stood slowly, testing his bandaged side. They failed. But they have eyes everywhere. Security cameras caught you entering this building. They'll find out who you are, where you live, and they'll use you to get to me. Adanna's blood turned to ice. My brother. Yes, your brother. Jin-Sang walked to the window, looking out over Seoul's glittering skyline. They'll take him, hurt him, make him scream until I give myself up. That's how this works. Then let me go to him. We'll run. We'll leave Seoul. They'll find you in an hour. Jin-Sang turned back to face her. There's only one way to keep him safe now. What? He stays with me. You both do. Under my protection. Adanna laughed, a bitter sound with no humor in it. Protection? You mean prison? I mean alive. Jin-Sang's eyes burned into hers. Decide now. Your brother alone in Itaewon where anyone can grab him, or here where I can keep him safe. It wasn't a choice. It was a trap disguised as mercy. But what could she do? Adanna thought of Kwame's inhaler, his medication that cost more than she made in a month, his dreams of becoming a scientist. She thought of their parents, dead 5 years now, buried in Ghana while their children tried to survive in a foreign country. If you hurt him, Adanna said quietly, I will find a way to kill you. I don't care who you are. Something flickered in Jin-Sang's expression. Respect? Surprise? It vanished too quickly to tell. I won't hurt him. You have my word. The word of a gangster. The word of a man who knows what it's like to watch someone you love struggle to breathe. Jin-Sang pulled out his phone, dialing. He spoke rapid Korean into it, too fast for Adanna to follow completely. She caught fragments. The boy. Itaewon. Gentle. He's sick. When he hung up, he met her furious gaze calmly. My men will bring him here. 2 hours. He'll be terrified. Then you'll comfort him. Jin-Sang walked toward the panic room off the main hall. You'll sleep here tonight. Locked in. Tomorrow, we move to a safe house. I'm not sleeping in a cage. You'll sleep where I put you. The coldness was back in his voice. Or I'll sedate you. Choose. Adanna wanted to fight, to scream, to run. But she was one woman against a crime lord in his own fortress. So she walked into the panic room, a small space with a cot and a bathroom and nothing else. Jin-Sang locked the door from the outside. The click echoed like a gunshot. She sank onto the cot and finally let herself cry. Not loud, because she wouldn't give him that satisfaction, but silent tears that ran down her cheeks as she clutched her phone. Kwame's smiling face stared at her from the lock screen. What had she done? What had she gotten them into? Hours later, she heard voices. The door unlocked. Jin-Sang stood there, and behind him was Kwame. Nuna. Kwame rushed past Jin-Sang and threw himself into Adanna's arms. He was shaking, his breath wheezing slightly, even though he clutched his inhaler in one hand. They came to the apartment. They said you were in trouble. What's happening? Who is he? Adanna held him tight, breathing in his familiar smell of the cheap soap they shared. It's okay, baby. It's okay. We're together now. I don't understand. Kwame pulled back, looking between her and Jin-Sang with wide, frightened eyes. Why did they take me? Are we kidnapped? You're protected, Jin-Sang said before Adanna could answer. He crouched down to Kwame's level, his movements careful despite the injury. What's your name? Kwame Osei. The boy's voice trembled, but he answered politely in Korean. Sun Sang-neem. You can breathe okay? Kwame nodded, but Adanna saw the lie. His chest was working too hard, the telltale sign of an approaching attack. He needs his medication. The pills, not just the inhaler. We left them at home. Jin-Sang stood and made another phone call. More rapid Korean. Then to Kwame. A doctor will come. She'll bring your medicine. The best medicine, better than what you have now. We can't afford that, Adanna said automatically. I can. Jin-Sang's gaze locked with hers. And I will. Consider it payment for your help tonight. Payment? Adanna's voice rose. You kidnapped us and you think medicine is payment? Nah. Kwame tugged her sleeve. Don't make him angry. But Adanna was past fear now. She was fury wrapped in desperation. We're not animals in a cage. We're people. We have lives, jobs, dreams. You can't just take us. I already did. Jin-Sang turned toward the door. The doctor will be here in 30 minutes. After that, we leave for the safe house. Get your brother comfortable. Make him understand this is for his protection. He left, locking them in again. Kwame's breathing got worse. Adanna helped him use his inhaler, counting the puffs, rubbing his back in slow circles. Tell me the truth. Nuna. Kwame whispered between breaths. Are we going to die? No, baby. No. Adanna kissed his forehead. I won't let that happen. I promise. But she didn't know if she could keep that promise. Not anymore. The doctor arrived exactly 30 minutes later. She was a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and efficient hands. Dr. Choi, she introduced herself, speaking perfect English. She examined Kwame thoroughly, listening to his lungs, checking his heart rate, asking questions about his medication history. His asthma is severe but manageable, Dr. Choi told Adanna. The medication he's been taking is outdated. I'm prescribing something better, stronger. She pulled bottles from her medical bag, explaining dosages. This one twice daily. This one before bed. The inhaler is needed, but with these pills, he should need it less. How much? Adanna asked, dreading the answer. Dr. Choi smiled gently. Mr. Park handles my fees. You don't need to worry about cost. Everything had a cost. Adanna knew that. But she took the medicine because Kwame needed it. She watched Dr. Choi give her brother the first dose, saw the immediate ease in his breathing. Whatever these pills were, they worked better than anything they'd been able to afford before. Thank you, Kwame said in Korean, always polite even in fear. You're welcome, sweet boy. Dr. Choi packed her bag. Mr. Park asked me to check his bandaging. I'll be back to check on you tomorrow. After she left, Kwame finally relaxed enough to lie down on the cot. Adanna sat beside him, stroking his hair like their mother used to do. Try to sleep. I'm scared, Nuna. Me too. But we're together. That's what matters. That man, Park Jin-Sang. He's dangerous, isn't he? Adanna wanted to lie, but Kwame deserved the truth. Yes, very dangerous. But he got me the medicine. And he didn't hurt me. The men who came for me, they were gentle. They let me pack my inhaler and my phone. Kwame's eyes were already closing, the medication making him drowsy. Maybe he's not all bad. Children saw the world in such simple terms. Good and bad, black and white. Adanna wished she could still see it that way. But she'd learned that the world was mostly gray, especially for people like them. Immigrants, outsiders, invisible until someone needed to use them. She must have fallen asleep too, because the next thing she knew, Jin-Sang was shaking her awake. Early morning light filtered through the panic room's small window. Kwame was still sleeping, his breathing steady and easy for the first time in months. We're leaving, Jin-Sang said quietly. Don't wake him yet. Let him rest a few more minutes. Adanna followed Jin-Sang into the main penthouse. Someone had cleaned up the blood. The gun was gone. It looked like a normal, ridiculously expensive apartment again. Jin-Sang handed her a cup of coffee and a plate of food. Traditional Korean breakfast, juk with side dishes. Eat. You'll need your strength. Adanna's stomach growled despite everything. She hadn't eaten since yesterday afternoon. She sat at the counter, keeping distance between them, and ate in silence. The food was delicious, which somehow made everything worse. Even his rice porridge was perfect. Where are we going? She asked finally. Ukchin, a Hanok-ion. Traditional house, but renovated. Secure. Jin-Sang drank his own coffee, watching her over the rim. You'll be comfortable there. Comfortable prison is still prison. Would you prefer uncomfortable prison? A hint of dark humor touched his voice. I can arrange that. Adanna set down her spoon with a sharp click. Why are you doing this? Really? You could have killed me last night. Cleaned up the mess. You're good at that, aren't you? Jin-Sang was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was different. Softer, almost. I had a brother once. Half-brother. Different mother. He was sick like Kwame. Lung problems. Couldn't breathe right. He stared into his coffee cup like it held answers. We were poor. Dirt poor. Busan slums. No money for doctors or medicine. What happened to him? He died. 14 years old. I was 16. Already running with the Park clan by then, making money. But too late. 3 months too late. Jin-Sang looked up, and for the first time, Adanna saw something human in his eyes. Pain. Old and deep. When I see your brother, I see him. Second chance, maybe. To do what I couldn't do before. Adanna didn't want to feel sympathy for this man who'd taken everything from her in one night. But the ache in his voice was real. The grief was real. I'm sorry. For your brother. Don't be sorry. Be smart. Let me protect you both until this is over. When will it be over? When Baek Sung-ho is dead or in prison. When his clan is broken. Jin-Sang stood, taking their empty plates to the sink. Could be days. Could be weeks. And then you're free. New identities if you want. Money to start over somewhere safe. He turned to face her. Where you stay. Work for me. Legitimate business. I have plenty. Your choice. It sounded too good to be true. Which meant it probably was. But what choice did Adanna have? She was trapped between the devil she knew and the devil she didn't. An hour later, they were in a black SUV with tinted windows, driving through Seoul's morning traffic. Kwame sat between Adanna and Jin-Sang in the back seat, staring wide-eyed at the city waking up. Min-jun drove, a quiet man in his 30s who'd introduced himself with a respectful bow. The Hanakan Bukshin was beautiful. Traditional Korean architecture with curved tile roofs, but inside was modern luxury. Heated floors, comfortable furniture, a kitchen that made Adanna's heart sing. And a courtyard, a real courtyard with a small garden and a stone pathway. This is amazing, Kwame breathed, forgetting his fear for a moment. Now look at this place. Your room is upstairs, Jin-Sang said, leading them through the house. Both of you. Connected rooms with a shared bathroom. He opened a door to reveal a space that was bigger than their entire Itaewon apartment. A large bed, a desk, a gaming console already set up. I wasn't sure what you liked, so I got basics. If you need anything else, tell me. Kwame's eyes went huge. A PlayStation? A new one? You're 15. All boys your age like games, don't they? Jin-Sang almost smiled. Almost. Consider it yours. Jinjao. Really? Kwame looked at Adanna for permission. She wanted to refuse, to tell Jin-Sang they didn't need his bribes. But Kwame's face was so hopeful, and he'd had so little joy these past years. You can keep it. But homework first, always. Thank you, Mr. Park, Kwame said in careful Korean. Gamtongna. Just Jin-Sang is fine. Adanna's room was next door, equally luxurious. A proper bed with soft sheets, a closet full of clothes in her size. How had he known her size? The thought made her uncomfortable. Jin-Sang noticed everything. That made him dangerous. Rest today, Jin-Sang said from the doorway. Tomorrow, we talk about what comes next. Min-jun and 3 other guards are here at all times. You're safe. Or trapped, Adanna countered. Both. Jin-Sang didn't sugarcoat it. Both things can be true at once. He left her alone. Adanna sat on the bed, testing its softness. She could hear Kwame in the next room, already turning on the PlayStation, the cheerful startup sound making her want to cry. He was adapting too quickly, finding comfort in this golden cage. But maybe that was good. Maybe he should be comfortable if they were stuck here. The days blurred together. Kwame went to online school on a laptop Jin-Sang provided. Dr. Choi visited daily, monitoring his breathing, adjusting his medication. The boy thrived. Color returned to his cheeks. He laughed more. Started eating properly. The constant wheeze that had been the soundtrack of their lives faded to nothing. Adanna tried to hate Jin-Sang for it. For making her brother healthy with money she could never earn. For showing her exactly what they'd been missing. What they could have had if they'd been born luckier, richer, different. But Jin-Sang was kind to Kwame. Patient. He taught the boy Korean phrases he didn't know, helped him with math homework, sat with him during meals. And slowly, Kwame's fear transformed into something else. Trust. Affection. He started calling Jin-Sang Hyungnam, older brother, with genuine warmth. At night, when Kwame was asleep, Adanna would wander the hammock. She couldn't escape, not with guards at every exit, but she could move freely within the property. Often, She found Jin-Sang in the courtyard, smoking cigarettes that he shouldn't smoke with his asthma, staring at nothing. "Can't sleep?" he asked one night when she joined him. "Too quiet. I'm used to sirens, traffic, people yelling." Adanna sat on the stone bench across from him. "This place is like a dream. Pretty but not real." "It's real. You're just not used to good things." "Neither are you." She studied his profile in the moonlight. "Handsome in a harsh way, like a knife. You smoke even though it hurts your lungs. You barely sleep. You check your phone every 5 minutes like you're expecting bad news." "Usually am." Jin-Sang offered her a cigarette. She shook her head. "Smart. Don't start." "Then why do you?" "Some habits are harder to break than others." They sat in comfortable silence. Strange how quickly silence with him had become comfortable. A week ago, she'd been terrified. Now she was just tired. Tired of being angry, tired of fighting the situation, tired of not knowing what came next. "Tell me about Ghana," Jin-Sang said suddenly. "What was it like?" Adanna smiled, remembering. "Hot. So hot. And loud, colorful, full of life. My mother sold cloth in the market. My father fixed cars. We didn't have much, but we were happy." The smile faded. "Then they died. Car accident. Kwame was 10. I was 23. We had nothing left there. No family, no money. So we came here." "Why Seoul?" "My mother had a friend here. She promised to help us, get us jobs. But when we arrived, she was gone. Moved back to Ghana. We were stuck." Adanna laughed bitterly. "Bet you regret asking now." "No. I want to know you." The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. Adanna's heart did something complicated in her chest. "Why?" "Because you're here. Because your brother calls me Hyungnim and means it. Because you look at me like I'm human, not a monster." Jin-Sang stubbed out his cigarette. "That's rare in my world." "You are human," Adanna said quietly. "But you're also a monster. Both things can be true at once." Jin-Sang smiled, actually smiled. "Using my words against me. I learn fast." "I've noticed." He stood, offering his hand. "Come. I want to show you something." Adanna hesitated, then took his hand. His palm was warm, calloused, strong. He led her inside to his office, a room she hadn't been allowed in before. Papers covered the desk. Photos. Maps. He pointed to a picture of a man in his 40s with cold eyes and a cruel mouth. "Baek Sung-ho, leader of the Baek clan. He wants my territory, my connections, my power." Jin-Sang's voice hardened. 3 weeks ago, he killed my cousin. Tortured him first. Left his body in Dongdaemun Market as a message. Adanna's stomach turned. "Why are you showing me this?" "Because tomorrow, his men will find this location. I have a spy in his organization who told me. They're coming." Jin-Sang met her eyes. "I'm moving you and Kwame tonight. Somewhere safer. But I need you to understand what's happening. Why I do what I do. You're a gangster. You kill people." "Yes. I kill people who would kill me first. Who would hurt innocents to get to me." He gestured to another photo. A young woman, beaten and broken. "This was a waitress who served me coffee. Beck's men grabbed her, tortured her for information she didn't have, then dumped her body in the Han River. She was 19, just working to pay for university." Adanna looked away, but Jin-Sang caught her chin gently, making her look back. "Don't hide from it. This is the world you're in now. This is why I took you. Because Beck would have done worse to you. To Kwame. And I couldn't let that happen. Because he reminds you of your brother." "Yes. And because you remind me of someone too." "Who?" "Someone I could have been. If life had been different." Jin-Sang released her, stepping back. "Pack light. We leave in 2 hours." The move happened fast. Min-jun woke Kwame, who was confused but obedient. They took only essentials, piling into 2 SUVs. Jin-Sang drove the first one himself, Adanna and Kwame in the back. Min-jun followed with 3 other guards. They were halfway to the new safe house when everything went wrong. The explosion was deafening. The second SUV erupted in flames, flipping twice before crashing onto its side. Jin-Sang cursed in Korean, slamming the brakes. "Get down. Both of you down." Adanna threw herself over Kwame, covering him with her body. Gunfire shattered the back window, glass raining over them. Kwame screamed. Jin-Sang pulled a gun from under his seat and returned fire through the broken windshield. "Min-jun," he shouted into his phone. Min-jun respond. Static. Then groaning. "Hyungnam, we're hit. Can't move. Lee is dead. Park is injured. We need help. Hold on." Jin-Sang threw the SUV into reverse, tires screaming. More gunshots. He drove backward at terrifying speed, then spun the vehicle around. There's a construction site 2 blocks west. We hide there. Adanna couldn't breathe. This was real. This was actually happening. People were shooting at them. Minjun's friend Lee was dead. Dead. She held Kwame tighter, feeling him shake against her. I'm scared, he whispered. I know, baby. Me too. But we're going to be okay. She didn't believe it. But she said it anyway because that's what you did. You lied to protect the people you loved. Jin-Sang drove like a demon, weaving through traffic, ignoring red lights. Behind them, black cars followed. Beck's men. More gunshots. A bullet hit their back tire, and the SUV swerved violently. Jin-Sang controlled it, barely, pulling into an abandoned construction site surrounded by high fences. Out. Now. He grabbed Kwame, pulling him from the vehicle. Adanna scrambled after them. They ran through piles of dirt and concrete, between half-built structures, into the skeleton of a subway tunnel. It was dark, cold. The smell of damp earth and rust filled Adanna's nose. Jin-Sang pushed them deeper into the tunnel, then stopped at an alcove. Stay here. Don't move. Don't make a sound. Where are you going? Adanna grabbed his arm. To lead them away from you. He checked his gun. If I don't come back in 30 minutes, call this number. He pressed a card into her hand. Tell them where you are. They'll protect you. Jin-Sang don't. But he was already gone, running back toward the entrance. Toward the danger. Toward the men with guns who wanted him dead. Adanna pulled Kwame close. They huddled in the darkness, listening to footsteps above them. Shouts in Korean. More gunshots. Each sound made her flinch, made Kwame whimper. She covered his mouth gently, whispering in Chui, the language of their childhood, the language of their mother. Iden minua? Iden. It's okay, my brother. It's okay. But it wasn't okay. Kwame's breathing was getting worse. The stress, the running, the dust in the tunnel. He fumbled for his inhaler with shaking hands. 1 puff. 2. 3. It wasn't helping. His chest heaved. His lips were turning blue in the dim light filtering from above. No, no, no. Kwame, stay with me. Adanna's voice rose in panic. Breathe, baby. Breathe. He couldn't. His eyes rolled back. His body went limp in her arms. Adanna screamed. She didn't care who heard. She screamed for help, for God, for anyone. Footsteps pounded toward them. Jin-Sang appeared, blood on his face, gun in hand. He dropped beside them, assessing in seconds. Severe attack. He needs his pills. The emergency ones. Jin-Sang pulled out his own inhaler from his pocket. This is stronger. Medical grade. He pressed it to Kwame's lips, delivering measured puffs while tilting the boy's head back. Come on, kid. Come on. Nothing. Kwame wasn't responding. Adanna sobbed, holding his hand. Please, please, please. Jin-Sang started chest compressions, counting in Korean. Hana, Dur said. Then rescue breaths. He'd done this before, Adanna realized through her tears. He knew exactly what to do. Again. Again. How long? 30 seconds? A minute? Forever? Kwame gasped. Coughed. His eyes fluttered open. He sucked in air greedily, desperately, beautiful air. That's it. Good boy. Breathe. Jin-Sang supported him, keeping him upright. Slow breaths. In through nose, out through mouth. Like I taught you. Remember? Kwame nodded weakly, following the rhythm. Color slowly returned to his face. Adanna cried harder, but from relief now. Jin-Sang called someone, speaking rapid Korean. Doctor. Now. Construction site on Gangnam Boulevard. Yes, I know it's dangerous. I don't care. The boy needs help. He hung up, then looked at Adanna. Really looked at her. I'm sorry. This is my fault. All of it. No. Adanna wiped her face with dirty hands. Baek Sung-ho did this. Not you. I brought you into this world. You saved my brother's life. Twice now. She reached out, touching Jin-Sang's bloody face. Are you hurt? Scratches. I'm fine. But his hands were shaking. From adrenaline, from fear, from something else. They're gone. For now. Retreated when Minjun's backup arrived. But they'll try again. Then we fight back. The words surprised Adanna as much as they surprised Jin-Sang. We stop running. We end this. You don't know what you're saying. I know exactly what I'm saying. Adanna held Kwame close, feeling his heartbeat against her chest. I almost lost him today. I won't almost lose him again. Tell me how to stop Baek Sung-ho. Tell me how to end this. Jin-Sang stared at her for a long moment. Then he smiled, a real smile that transformed his face. You're brave. Foolish, but brave. I'm tired. There's a difference. Dr. Choi arrived 20 minutes later with guards and an ambulance. She examined Kwame thoroughly, giving him stronger medication, oxygen, fluids. He'll be okay, but he needs rest. Lots of rest. No more stress. No more stress, Jin-Sang agreed. I'm moving them to my main compound. Fortress-level security. No one gets in. The compound was exactly that. A fortress. High walls, armed guards, cameras everywhere. Modern building disguised as a traditional estate in the Namsan area. Inside was a command center with computers, screens showing every angle of the property, weapons locked in cases. This is where I really work, Jin-Sang told Adanna while Kwame slept in a bedroom upstairs under Dr. Choi's watch. This is where I plan. Where I protect what's mine. Are we yours now? Adanna asked. Do you want to be? The question hung between them. Adanna thought about the past 2 weeks. The fear, yes. The anger, yes. But also the safety. The care. The way Jin-Sang looked at Kwame like he was precious. The way he looked at her like she mattered. I don't know what I want anymore, she admitted. Except for Kwame to be safe. To be healthy. To have a future. He will. I promise. Jin-Sang gestured to the command center. But first, we need to deal with Beck. And I need your help. My help? I'm just a cleaner. You're more than that. You're smart. You notice things. You said you cleaned Dong Demon Market. That you saw Beck there every Thursday at midnight. Jin-Sang spread maps and photos on the table. Tell me everything you remember. So Adanna did. She described Beck's routine, the guards he brought, the patterns she'd noticed over months of invisible cleaning. Jin-Sang listened intently, asking questions, taking notes. Min-jun joined them, his arm bandaged but functional. She's right, Min-jun said, studying the information. He's predictable, arrogant, thinks he's untouchable in public spaces. Then we use that. Jin-Sang drew lines on the map. Thursday night. 3 days from now. We meet him there. Neutral ground. Public enough that he can't bring his full force. And then? Adanna asked. Then I show him the evidence I have on him. Police corruption, political bribes, murder. Everything. I offer him a choice. Retreat or be destroyed. Jin-Sang's smile was cold. Men like Beck only understand power. I'll show him mine. The next 3 days were preparation. Jin-Sang trained Adanna in basic self-defense. Nothing fancy, just how to break a grip, where to hit to cause pain, how to use everyday objects as weapons. She was a fast learner, fueled by determination and fear. Kwame stayed in the compound with guards and Dr. Choi. He'd recovered fully from the attack, thanks to the medication and rest. But saying goodbye to him the night of the confrontation was the hardest thing Adanna had ever done. I'll come back, she promised, holding him tight. I swear it. You better, Nuna. Kwame tried to smile, but his eyes were wet. Jin-Sang hyunged him too. Both of you come back. We will, Jin-Sang said, ruffling the boy's hair. Take care of the place while we're gone. I will. I promise. Kwame hugged Jin-Sang suddenly, fiercely. Komapsamnida. For everything. Jin-Sang's expression softened in a way Adanna had never seen before. He hugged Kwame back, gentle despite his strength. Kaga, he said quietly. Family. The midnight market in Dong Demon was closing when they arrived. Vendors packing up, few people around. Perfect for what was about to happen. Jin-Sang had 8 men with him, including Min-jun. They positioned themselves around the square, hidden but ready. Baek Sung-ho arrived exactly on time with 15 men. He was shorter than Adanna expected, stocky and scarred, with eyes like a snake. He smiled when he saw Jin-Sang, but it was the smile of a predator. Park, Jin-Sang. You're either brave or stupid, coming here. Beck spoke in Korean, but Adanna understood enough now to follow. Where's the African woman? And the boy? I'd like to meet them. They're safe. Far from you. Jin-Sang's voice was ice. This is between us, Beck. Leave them out of it. But they're so interesting. Especially the woman. Pretty. Exotic. Beck's leer made Adanna's skin crawl. She stepped forward before she could stop herself, into the light where Beck could see her. I'm right here, she said in careful Korean. And I'm nobody's prize. Beck laughed, surprised. Spirit. I like it. Maybe when Jin-Sang is dead, I'll keep you. Would you like that? Jin-Sang moved faster than Adanna could track, stepping between her and Beck. Touch her, and I'll kill everyone you've ever loved. The threat hung in the air, heavy and real. Beck's smile faded. Big words. Let's see if you can back them up. Jin-Sang pulled out his phone, turning it so Beck could see the screen. Recognize this? You're meeting with Chief Inspector Kim. The bribe you paid him. 3,000,000 won. I have the bank transfer records. The photos. The recordings. Beck's face went white. You're bluffing. Am I? Jin-Sang swiped to another image. Here's you ordering the hit on my cousin. Here's you with Mayor Choi's wife in a hotel. Here's you buying drugs from the Chinese suppliers. Swipe, swipe, swipe. I have everything, Beck. Every crime. Every connection. Every dirty secret. What do you want? Beck's voice shook now. With rage, with fear. Retreat. Take your clan and leave Seoul. Go back to Busan. Stay there. Or I release everything to the police, the media, the politicians you've been blackmailing. Jin-Sang's smile was sharp as a blade. Your choice. Exile or destruction. For a moment, Beck just stared. Then he laughed. You think you've won? You think I'll just walk away? I think you're smart enough to recognize when you're beaten. I'm not beaten. Beck pulled a gun. His men did the same. Jin-Sang's men responded in kind. 15 guns aimed at 8. Bad odds. But Jin-Sang didn't flinch. Then one of Beck's men stepped forward. Kim, his lieutenant. Enough, old man. Beck turned, confused. What? I said enough. Kim shot Beck in the leg. The gangster fell, screaming. Kim's gun stayed steady. You're weak. Sloppy. You've made us targets by going after Park. I've been talking with Jin-Sang. We've made a deal. You traitor. Beck spat blood. I'll kill you. No, you won't. Kim looked at Jin-Sang. We agreed. I take over the Beck clan. We split the territories. Peace between our organizations. Yes. Jin-Sang nodded slowly. Yes. Peace. Then it's done. Kim gestured to his men. Take him. Get him medical attention. Then put him on a plane to anywhere that's not Korea. Just like that, it was over. Beck's men dragged him away, still screaming threats that no one listened to. Kim and Jin-Sang shook hands like businessmen closing a deal, which Adanna supposed they were. Thank you for the opportunity, Kim said. I'll be a better leader than he was. See that you are. Jin-Sang's tone made it clear what would happen if Kim broke the peace. They left quickly before police arrived. In the SUV, Adanna finally let herself breathe. Is it really over? For now? In this world, nothing is permanent. But yes, for now it's over. Jin-Sang touched her face gently, wiping away a tear she hadn't realized had fallen. You were incredible tonight. Brave and strong. I was terrified. Bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite it. He leaned closer. Sarangae Adanna. I love you. The words hit her like a physical thing. She'd known, somehow, but hearing it made it real. I love you too. I don't know how or when it happened, but I do. They kissed there in the back of the SUV, with Min-Jun politely not looking, with Seoul flying past the windows. It was messy and desperate and perfect. 3 months later, life had transformed. They lived in a beautiful hammock in a quiet neighborhood. Not hiding, but peaceful. Jin-Sang had moved most of his business to legitimate operations, keeping only enough of the old world to maintain respect and safety. Kwame thrived. He attended an international school, made friends, played soccer without gasping for air. He called Jin-Sang Hyungnam with genuine affection and helped Adanna cook fusion meals that mixed Korean and Ghanaian flavors. Adanna worked alongside Jin-Sang in his import-export business. Real work, not a cover. She was good at it, her language skills and cultural knowledge invaluable. She'd gone from invisible cleaner to essential partner. On their rooftop one evening, watching Seoul's lights twinkle like stars, Jin-Sang pulled out a small box. Inside was a ring, Korean design, with an Adinkra symbol engraved inside. Marry me, he said simply. Make this real. Make us family officially. Adanna didn't hesitate. Yes. Nay, yes. Kwame cheered when they told him, demanding to be the best man. They laughed, the three of them together under the stars. A family forged not by blood but by survival, by choice, by love. Later, as they held each other on the rooftop, Adanna thought about the night she'd found that gun on a marble floor. How her entire world had exploded in an instant. How she'd been terrified and angry and lost. But also how she'd found something she hadn't known she was looking for. Home. Not a place, but people. Not safety, but belonging. What are you thinking? Jin-Sang asked, his arms warm around her. That I'm happy, despite everything, because of everything. Adanna turned in his embrace to face him. We're going to be okay, aren't we? More than okay. We're going to be great. He kissed her forehead. Gajuk. Family. Family, Adanna echoed in Chui. A bourgeois. And for the first time in years, she believed in happy endings. If you enjoyed Adanna and Jin-Sang's incredible journey from fear to love, from captivity to freedom, please hit that like button and subscribe for more emotional stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Drop a comment below telling us what you thought about their story. Did Jin-Sang's redemption move you? Were you rooting for them from the start? We love hearing from you. Subscribe now and join our community of story lovers. More amazing tales coming your way soon. Until next time, remember that family isn't always about blood. Sometimes it's about who fights for you when the world turns dark. Sometimes love finds us in the most unexpected places. And sometimes, the person who captures us is the one who sets us free.